Meka, I am so excited for this category, Most Ambitious Request. Now, there's a lot of ambition going on in the Silk Studio these days. I think when most people come, they've got some ambitions brewing, right?
Absolutely. So first of all, brand new category this year, right? The
Yes.
ambition refers to when people are coming in and they have a vision or we're being really creative and collaborative. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, Meka, love your ideas. I have another. Let's do this thing because I can see it working in my business. And I think it's going to be awesome and really speak to my message. So I had to create this category this year just for that.
So they create the yes and for your ideas because you come up with a lot of ideas when you're on those shoots.
I do. And I love that. Yes. And that's exactly what it is. It's always a collaboration here.
It just keeps growing and adding layers to it. And I'm pretty sure we have some incredible photos to show for this category that just show how it continues to heighten and create even more creativity and incredible body of work from that ambition.
We absolutely do. And I'm glad that you have such knowledge about this because I'm actually really excited to both talk to you, the marketing maven expert, and we have a very special guest today, Erin Marcus, who is the founder and CEO of Conquer Your Business. Actually, Erin conquers everything. So don't even try to get another URL, conquer your blah, 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 because they're all taken by Erin. Don't even try it. So welcome, Erin. Say hi.
Say hi. Thank you. So excited to be here with you. And as I'm listening to you talk about the ambition concept, I'm revisiting in my mind the things we've been through this year. And I can't even imagine, right, what we're going to talk about. Brainy ideas. Let's try this. What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly. What could possibly go wrong? So, Erin and Megan, my marketing and business consultant gurus, I have a couple questions for you that I'd love to get your expertise on, if that's okay.
Of course.
And I'd love to hear from your perspective, why is personal branding important to your business?
Personal branding in a smaller entrepreneurial business it's hugely important, especially nowadays when the marketplace is just so noisy. There is so much out there. So I think of personal branding as how can I make my life easier? How can I make my life easier by showing up as who I am authentically, what I do authentically, so that the people who resonate with me can easily self-select. So I use personal branding, not just to show my expertise and not just because, somebody with an MBA thought that that's what we should call it. But if you do personal branding well, it makes everything else easier. Like your sales conversations, you don't have to convince anybody whether or not they should work with you. They show up really kind of 75% all the way already having decided if you're right for them or if you're likely to be right for them. And I use branding to just filter out the people who are in aligned with me versus the people that I'm just not right for.
I love that perspective. I really do. Megan, I know you have some words, some thoughts. Go ahead, jump right in.
I love that you bring up this point, Erin, of especially earlier in your business or when you're a solopreneur or when you're getting started, that personal brand, that professional brand, that business brand all starts to blur together. There is not a lot of difference between those when you are the brand. And really being clear in identifying with people that want to work with you specifically, whether you're at a large company and you're really focusing on what that personal brand is, or whether you're still growing that business, that personal brand is your reputation. And I think that we lose the word reputation and we shift it into personal brand because there's so much more that you have control and can start intentionally cultivate with that. So I look at those as very similar pieces and part of that evolution, both personally, professionally, and through a business's life cycle of how that personal brand carries you through.
Absolutely. And I think what people don't realize I love how you talked about personal brand and the company brand separating, because growing that personal brand and staying true to it is what allows you to iterate, pivot, God forbid we use that word anymore, but iterate, pivot, and start new ventures. Because as your business grows and you want to do more and more and more, you can use your personal brand to leverage your next step until that piece of your business brand can stand on its own.
Those are such amazing points. This is why both of you are experts. And so I would love to hear from you. And I'm sure that those of us who are listening and who are not experts such as you are, what kind of advice or suggestions do you have for people who want to define themselves and create that reputation and identity?
All right. Here's where I went horribly wrong. So just don't do this and you'll be so much further ahead. Meka, you're going to die. So here's the deal. I come out of corporate. So when I launched my first entrepreneurial effort, like I had a franchise, so that branding already existed. But then when I started my own business, I was still stuck in what I thought the brand had to be in order to be successful. In corporate, so many times your success is really dictated by your ability to follow the path that had been laid out in front of you. And I was great at following that path. And I know looking at me now, it's probably shocking. And I've always been a little bit on the outskirts of what was acceptable in the corporate world. But when I first started my own thing, I didn't embrace the lunacy that is Erin, right? Like I didn't really completely embrace who I was. And as a result, my first business, though it just used my name, so there wasn't a naming problem. My brand, meaning now, and I understand that a brand is much more than a logo and colors, but what I first put out into the world was a paisley blue square with my initials in gray. And if there is anything about me that is paisley and blue and gray, I mean, who are we kidding, right? It was so off. It was so incredibly off from everything I was, how I operated, what I recommended. And this is why we now call 2018 Erin's Year of Failure. It didn't work. It didn't work. So that story is to tell you, embrace your authenticity sooner rather than later. The faster you can embrace your authentic self and create a natural brand, an organic brand, the better off you don't have to have a year of failure then.
I want to add something to that because I love that embracing the natural authenticity. There's a piece of knowing yourself that's really critical when you're cultivating and being intentional about that brand. And where the word that came to mind for me was actually alignment, because you want to make sure that that brand is aligned to who you are, to your authenticity, as Erin mentioned, but also to your goals and your objectives. And making sure that there's harmony between those two, I think, is where the personal brand shines. And Erin, I'm sure you've seen people that have goals or they think they want something that isn't aligned with them. And that misalignment obviously will cause some business challenges, some more years of failure, and some tough roads ahead. But understanding and making sure that those two are congruent. So when you are cultivating that personal brand, it's getting you where you truly want to go with who you are. 100%. And when you're bringing them together with that intentionality, with the specificness in it, that's where you start to not just put it all out there because this is authentic me, but you're doing it with purpose. And I think that's where the personal branding really starts to go head and shoulders above just a photo, just a profile, just me.
Absolutely. 100%. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Indeed. I am so appreciative of both of you spending time with us today and lending your expertise and your wise words. And so to wrap everything up, when we think of ambition, when we think of branding, what are some of the last just nuggets of wisdom, bits of advice that you want to share right now?
I'll take ambition. You have permission to go for it. And too many people are waiting for someone else to tell them it's okay. We have, like, when did it, I remember saying this to Mike, my boyfriend, when I was when I was having the struggle part of growing the business. When did it become okay to live like this? When did it become okay to live on leftovers? When did it become okay to only have what somebody else dictated was enough for you? When did we get squished and kind of told to stop dreaming? So I'll take the ambition part. And if you require it at all, and I'm hoping that you don't even need it, but if you require it at all, you have permission. You have absolute permission to act on your desires, to go for more than you think is humanly possible, for doing things that nobody ever did before in a different way than people did. There is no supposed to. Just go for it. The world freaking needs you.
It's funny, we were both going kind of, I think, in the same direction, because where I was really thinking of is the don't hold back. And I think that restraint, there's times for it, and there's times when it's not appropriate. And in the Silk Studio, there is no holding back. And when you're talking about those ambition, whether it be in business, whether it be in your photos, this is the time to play. This is the time to test. This is not the time to hold back.
I could not agree with both of those thoughts more. I love that we now have permission. You can do it. The world needs you. And Megan, you know that I adore that you use the word play. We do nothing but play here in the studio, because if it's not fun, it's not worth it. And it's not authentic. It's not you. So let's have some fun. And so
I think you have some photos that are very fun to show. I think fun might just describe ambition now at the Silk Studio.
Thank God there's no video. There's just photos.
Well, I don't know. There just may be some video too. So before we head out, Erin, tell us how we can reach you.
How can we reach me? It's real easy. Conqueryourbusiness.com. We put it all in one place for you. Every way to reach me, everything that's going on. Just hit up the website, conqueryourbusiness.com.
For most ambitious request, Wendy Springberg. 4 equals string quartet and scalesology.
And the winner is 4 equals string quartet.
Congratulations, 4 strings equals 4 equals strings quartet. And this is one of our absolute favorite photos of the year, actually. Just their energy, and when they came into the studio wanting to be super ambitious. And look at the results. Look at what we get to do. It was absolutely one of the most fun times we've had in the studio this year. And hey, get inspired. Tell me what to do sometimes. I love the creative collaboration that we can, as you can see, the results can be really phenomenal sometimes.
How
And
many
Megan,
takes did it take to get everyone jumping? Yeah, see, there's the ambition. I've tried that photo. I don't think I've ever successfully done that.
you know, it does take a few times, but when you nail it, you nail it. So
You nailed it, clearly.
You just got to keep going until it's absolutely perfection, right?
Absolutely.
Right. And so what's the prize?
Ooh, our prize today, I'm so excited. They're going to get complimentary hair and makeup credit towards their next photo package. So I'm sure there's a lot of ambition when you have someone doing your hair and makeup. That's just going to up the ante. Absolutely.
Absolutely, indeed. Well, Erin, we're going to say goodbye to you one more time. And thank you so much for joining us for this category.
Thank you.
And now we're going to do some Silk Studio trivia.
Woohoo! Please, 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 please. watch for the next segment.